endorsement by an education union for Democrat Charlie Crist in Miami. Baby holding for Republican Governor Rick Scott in Broward County. The race for Florida governor enters the home stretch. Although Charlie Crist has only been the Democratic nominee for governor for a little more than a week, his Republican opponent is already tying him to President Barack Obama.
Barack Obama and Charlie Crist, more debt, more spending, and more taxes.
America continues barreling toward a date with midterm destiny in the state of Florida, which from time to time has been correctly referred to as Florida, may be in prime position to lead the discourse derby with their gubernatorial battle between Charlie Crist and Rick Scott. The Republican incumbent, who has a few positives during his tenure but still carries around a lot of suspect baggage, and the former Republican, turned independent, turned Democrat, former governor of the state, who flip-flops more often and better than a trout tossed into a boat gasping for its last breath of life. Welcome to MidPoint, the senior political reporter for the Sunshine State News, who was able to cleanse himself by taking on more than just this entertaining race. Kevin Derby joins us today. Kevin, thanks so much for being here.
A pleasure, Ed, a true pleasure.
Is it not fair to say, though, Kevin, that everybody is just sort of waiting for the race in Florida, as others will talk about here, but the race in Florida to start getting really grimy and dirty, because you just know it's going to happen sooner or later?
This is undoubtedly the political main event for any of the gubernatorial races across the nation. And this is going to come down to a lesser of two evil contests. The attack being launched on both sides. The mud is being thrown on both sides. Both candidates are upside down. By October 15th, nobody in Florida will want to turn on the television, turn on their radios, or open up the mailboxes to pick up more attack flyers. This is going to be fierce. This is going to be ugly. And this is going to just be a very brutal contest on both sides.
But here's the strange thing about it, and I'm reading from the Fort Lauderdale Sun-Sentinel. More than half of likely voters, 53%, said in a recent poll Charlie Crist couldn't be trusted. Now, let me go to another newspaper poll here. Republican Governor Rick Scott, Charlie Crist, continue to trade the lead. This one has Crist topping Scott 42-40% in a brand new Rasmussen Reports survey released late Friday. People of Florida can't make up their mind on this one, though, Kevin.
No, they really can't. Most of the polls have shown Rick Scott edging ahead. The Rasmussen poll shows it with Charlie Crist in the lead. It's a far cry from where it was 6 months ago when Rick Scott was being demolished by Charlie Crist by double digits. But these are two candidates where, frankly, neither of them are trusted, neither of them are liked. Charlie Crist is like a hermit crab. He keeps changing his positions. He keeps changing his shells for which party he wants, what office he wants, what he stands for. Rick Scott, very good economic record, but a very bland, somewhat annoying public personality. Also, a lot of questions about his record in the private sector. This is going to be one of those elections where nobody will like whoever wins, and it's going to become just down to a lesser of two evils.
Which is unfortunate that the people of Florida only have that to turn to. All right, let's go and look at some of the other races now. Let's move off to Wisconsin. Democratic gubernatorial candidate Mary Burke. She is accusing Republican Governor Scott Walker of being fiscally irresponsible. New estimates project a $1.8 billion shortfall in the state budget by mid-2017. She's got something to run on there, doesn't she?
Yeah, Mary Burke is a much better candidate than Democrats have had last time. Unlike when they tried to recall Scott Walker, the Democrats are avoiding talking about state employees and state pensions, promising to defend them till the last cow comes home. Mary Burke is much more focused on the economy. And here she ran an ad last month, which was extremely effective, saying that Scott Walker has led Wisconsin to the worst economy in the region, in the Midwest, promising jobs he hasn't been able to produce. It's effective. I think this is going to be a toss-up come November, which is, considering we were talking to Scott Walker as a potential 2016 presidential hopeful, this takes that certainly disrupts those plans quite a bit.
On to Illinois. Interesting here in Illinois. We talk about the discourse going on in Florida right now. Here's Illinois. Their financial position has absolutely declined since Pat Quinn has been in office. He's the incumbent. His opponent, Bruce Rauner, is just a big-moneyed, wealthy venture capitalist. Quinn has a horrible financial record, yet he's got an 11-point lead. Again, here's one of those where you just shake your head and go, this is just odd, and you wonder what the people are voting for here.
Yeah, Bruce Rauner seemed to have momentum. He had a great summer for the most part, was really picking up steam. Granted, in Illinois you have a Democratic tilt. The problem that he ran into was, here he is, he's a candidate, he's talking about his $18 wristwatch, and yet it turns out he's a $100,000 member of a $100,000 wine club. Come on, that doesn't really play in any populist area. It's helped Pat Quinn get back to a lead, a pretty substantial lead, according to the polls that you quoted yesterday. That was released by Chicago Tribune at the end of last week. This is a race which should be a lot closer than it is. Bruce Ferrando, with that $100,000 wine club, has shot himself in the foot.
Yeah, pretty much. I think he's going to have a good time with his wine after the election here. Move on to Kansas now. Sam Brownback going after Paul Davis right now. A lot of this is based on education, but it's an interesting race.
Yeah, Sam Brownback, former U.S. Senator, was a presidential hopeful in 2007, 2008 on the Republican side. This should not be that close of a race, but Sam Brownback has made some serious mistakes. You look at Kansas, it's a conservative state, but it's a state where they value education. You look at I-70, you go across the Sunflower State, and you see small colleges across the Great Plains of that state. Education is crucial. They're saying that Sam Brownback's tax cuts are going to hurt education in Kansas. That's helped Paul Davis get in this race. Paul Davis is also able to help pick up a lot of moderate Republicans in the eastern part of the state, Johnson County, in the suburbs of Kansas City, Lawrence, Manhattan, Topeka. That area is going to come out pretty strongly for Paul Davis. Sam Brownback, who was once a rising star for Republicans, is in for the fight of his life here.
All right, last shot, about 30 seconds, 40 seconds here in Georgia. Governor Nathan Deal, he's also defending an education record from attacks by his Democratic challenger, Jason Carter. So again, it's down to education and, of course, money.
Yeah, this is a much closer race than it should be. Jason Carter, the grandson of Jimmy Carter, is running a very close race here. Polls show Deal only ahead by the skin of his teeth. This is going to come down to education, money, and turnout. Carter needs a big turnout in the metro Atlanta area. I don't know if he's going to be able to get that come November.
We'll squeeze one more in here. You did such a great job there. I'll give you 20 seconds on this one. In Connecticut, the last one, Tom Foley, the Republican challenger, and Governor Daniel P. Malloy. They're going to debate 6 more times. Boy, those ought to be entertaining.
Yeah, look, Connecticut is a blue state, but you look at recent trends, John Rowland, Jody Rell, this state elects Republican governors. Tom Foley, former ambassador to Ireland, ran in 2010. Malloy has not produced the jobs that we're talking about. I think Foley has a very good chance here in November to pull off the upset.
All right, we're going to keep checking back with you. And again, remember, after changing and looking at the race in Florida, just wash your hands and everything will be fine when it's all done. Kevin Derby, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, next hour here on MidPoint, women becoming less enamored of Barack Obama, and a school teaching students to compare George Bush with Adolf Hitler. After the break, how the media welcomed Hillary Clinton back to Iowa, right here on MidPoint.